game winner with 0.7 seconds left as the Hornets beat the Magic. Hayward had 39 points. What about the Clippers? They won their 7th straight game, knocking off the Thunder. Kawhi dropped 34 points, got close to a triple-double. It was his 3rd straight 30-point game. Boston crushed Cleveland. Jaylen Brown continues to star. 33 points in just 19 minutes. According to Elias, that is the most points by any player in fewer than 20 minutes played since the shot clock was invented. And it was Dame time in Portland. Lillard only put up 17 shots but finished with 39 points. It was his 3rd straight game with at least 35 points.
I said this last hour, and I have an update on the twins for Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
1 boy, 1 girl. And he is a tired man that didn't look very tired last night.
Good for him.
Isn't that awesome?
No sleep.
I know.
Proud papa, putting in points, wrapping up half-hour headlines, talking about Brooklyn's
Can I
big
say
three.
that since you left me out to dry? And those are your half-hour headlines.
Yeah, you may. See, you got to button up the same. Well, I didn't really leave you out to dry. Just stop talking. Kyrie averaging 32.5 points per game with a big three over 34 in 3 games he's played with Harden. KD has managed to fill up the stat sheet in these 2 games, dropping 30-plus in both games to lead the team in scoring. He also added 16 rebounds, 12 assists, and 6 blocks. Meanwhile, James Harden has let his scoring take a backseat in Brooklyn, becoming a facilitator. He has a team-high 23 assists in the 2 games and only 21 points. The question is, how long will he remain a facilitator? Let's find out. NBA analyst Chiney Ogwumike with us. Chiney, in the 2 games that Kyrie, James, and KD have all played in, the Nets are averaging over 131 points a game. What stands out to you about their offense so far?
Well, the Brooklyn Big Three finally got their first win. Yay. Now, we all know that over the course of Kyrie Irving's career, he believes that he is a closer. He is the closer. And on Saturday, he showed exactly why. 12 points in the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game, doing work, at 3 levels of the game off of the dribble. We're talking about getting to the rim, using the mid-range jumper, and of course, his signature dagger 3 lane. I love seeing it. Kyrie creates his own opportunity. And that got them a win. Now, we all know that. We all know this. Now, what we do not know still in the equation is the James Harden factor. James Harden is a phenomenal talent. But in the long run, as you mentioned, Matt, will the team be better if he continues to have limited possessions? Just 12 points in the game. Didn't make a 3, I believe, 0 for 5 from 3, only 8 shot attempts. So while the Nets got that feel-good win snapped for everybody behind Kyrie Irving's heroics of late, it will be interesting to see how they find other ways to win, because that will be necessary as well.
Yeah, everything can work for 1, 2, 3 games at a time, but when you get to that stretch run of the season, come the postseason, it'll be interesting to see how the Nets, with Harden, by the way, 10 or more assists in each of his first 5 games with Brooklyn. But the defense gave up 41 points to Bam Adebayo on Saturday night. What defensive adjustment do they need to make in tonight's rematch?
The defensive adjustment that the Nets need to make is to keep that same energy that you have on offense and apply that to your defense, because the Nets, they're still trying to find their rhythm. They're still trying to find their identity. But the league will not wait for them to figure all of that out. Guys like Bam Adebayo will look to feast, like we saw, had himself a night. No one could stop him. Career-high 41 points. Oh, and by the way, the Miami Heat, they played without Jimmy Butler and they played without Tyler Hero. So everybody and their mama knew that it had to be Bam stepping up for the Heat to stay competitive. And in the end, it came down to a shootout, which is fine, as you mentioned, Matt, for now in the regular season. But if you are a super talented team, yeah, that shootout sort of works, but not sustainable for championship teams. And that's something Steve Nash will have to work on.
4 p.m. Eastern with Golick Jr. on radio. I would like you to discuss why the Heat uniform looked like a gender reveal. Don't wear them again. Chiney,
maybe they're like Dame's twins, right? Boy and girl. That's been
sometimes, Dave, I'll keep you in a toes. I'll just get right to stuff sometimes.
All right, pay attention. Matthew, stop me if you've heard this before, but Tom Brady is going to the Super Bowl again. This one, though, feels a little bit different because he did it in his first season with a brand new team. You're testing me. I know what you're doing. The 43-year-old Brady acknowledged that it was far from his best game, 3 picks, but Tampa Bay struck first, really set the tone. New on SportsCenter, Andy Reid earlier this hour talking about facing Tom Brady again. Listen.
You can see where Tom's leadership on the offensive side is showing. He's playing at an extremely high level, and for somebody his age, It's unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable for a 25-year-old to be doing what he's doing, let alone a 43-year-old.
Yeah, for sure. This statistic has made the rounds since the game ended yesterday, but please make sure you're allowing it to sink in. Tom Brady has more Super Bowl appearances, 10, than any franchise except the Patriots. And of course, Brady led them to 9 of the 11 in their team history. It's almost unfair. He's also the third player to play in an NFL championship game in 3 different decades, and the first since Johnny Unitas 50 years ago. We truly are witnessing history. Matt, go.
Yeah, Sage, we just heard from Andy Reid. The Bills hopped out to a 9-0 lead, and then it was all Reid, the champs, and Mahomes. They scored 14 unanswered points, never looked back, winning 38-24, and in the process becoming the 14th defending Super Bowl champion to return to the Super Bowl and trying to become the first repeat champion. Doesn't happen often. 2004 the last time, led by the Patriots, and you guessed it, Tom Brady. Now, Andy Reid said it didn't look good when asked about the injury to left tackle Eric Fisher, and he was right. The 2-time Pro Bowler tore his Achilles tendon in the fourth quarter of Kansas City's win over Buffalo last night. He will miss the Super Bowl after playing in 17 of the Chiefs' 18 games this season.
As for those who are not going to Tampa because they didn't win the game, they lost, this probably feels almost unfair if you're Aaron Rodgers. This was his year, right? He finally got to play an NFC title game at home. They were favored. But instead of him getting the proverbial monkey off his back, Rodgers becomes the first quarterback ever to lose 4 straight appearances in a conference championship game. As for his future, listen to Aaron last night.
A lot of guys' futures that are, uncertain, myself included. That's what's sad about it most. Getting this far, obviously there's going to be an end to it at some point, whether we make it past this one or not, but I'm going to have to take some time away for sure and clear my head and just kind of see what's going on with everything.
That puts a cap on another incredible statistical regular season for Aaron Rodgers, the heavy favorite to win this year's MVP. And here's why. He had 48 touchdowns against just 5 interceptions. He led the league in completion percentage, touchdown rate, and interception rate. Only Steve Young accomplished those numbers way back in 1992. Unfortunately for both Rodgers and Young, though they fell just short, neither won a Super Bowl in those respective seasons, both losing in the NFC title game. And now, really, who knows what is next for number 12.
I know it's next in half-hour headlines. A recap of the NBA yesterday. Gordon Hayward hit a game winner with 0.7 seconds left.